Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is that time again. I am live, I am back, and I am here to stay. I'm here to play. I'm here to have some fun. I'm here to listen to some Ozzy Osbourne, as usual. My playback feature doesn't work tonight, so double check, make sure that it's working correctly. Should be live. YouTube's having one of those days. So if you are there, say hello. Yeah, it seems that I'm live. Everything's playing back fine on my actual YouTube play page, but not on the live streaming app, which is helpful, very helpful. Get a few things in order, and we're gonna have some fun. We're finally there. We're fucking finally there, guys. Finally at the end of this Ozzy Osbourne album thing. I've done every single Ozzy album. It's been a wild ride. I've really enjoyed it, and thank you very much for coming with me on this ride. Seen a lot of similar faces on these. Getting Marty, yep, and Cowcat and Marshall. It's good to see some familiar names, familiar faces. Well, not faces, familiar avatars. It really does mean a lot. Thank you very much. Let's scream. Richard Henry says he's never listened to this album at all, so it should be good. Yes, it's not that bad an album. Bastian S. Hello, Levi. How are you? This is the first time you've caught one of my listening streams. Well, I'm sorry that it's not a better album, but we'll have some fun with it regardless, won't we? Just making sure I'm not getting sound coming through anywhere else. Yeah, no, that's absolutely good. Joe Clifford, good to see you, man. Good to see you. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce the name underneath that, but thank you very much to the dude that has it looks like Malmsteen's trilogy avatar. So thank you very much for tuning in. I do appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Yes, so my name is Levi Clay, and if this is the first time you've caught one of my listening party streams, the concept is very, very simple. We're going to respect copyright law. I'm not going to be playing Ozzy's music over my stream for you to listen to. If you would like to listen along, that's easy to do. Go down into that the description below the video. You will find a link to the album on Spotify, and we will hit play together. We will listen to it together. We'll talk about it. I'll give you my thoughts on it. And then afterwards we'll have a breakdown. This one's going to be fun to break down afterwards because we're finally at the end. I can list off the Ozzy albums in order of best to worst. This one won't be the worst. I can pretty much guarantee that. So, Winnipeg Nightly Arts. How's it going? Thank you very much for tuning in. So, yeah, please do head down into that description below. Check out the album on Spotify. Get it queued up. Get it ready so we can all press play together. Because together we are better. And I literally mean that. These streams are so much more fun when you guys are engaging in the comment section. So get the album queued up, listen to it along with me. We'll have a blast. We'll have lots of conversation. Get chatting to your fellow streamers. Everybody that's in that comment section. These are your fellow stream buddies. So, tag each other, respond to each other, talk to me. I'm going to read your comments. I'm going to be responding to you. Let's make this as interactive as possible. And of course, the best way to make these things as interactive as possible is sharing this stream. Oh, I know it's a big ask. It's not the biggest ask I'm going to do tonight, but I know it's a big ask. But if you could share this stream on Facebook, share it on YouTube, share it on Reddit, share it on Twitter, share it on Instagram, anywhere that you think people might discover these streams and enjoy themselves, reaching a new audience, reaching a bigger audience is the goal of these, right? I want to have fun. I want as much people involved in this as possible. Jesse Gilbert's online. Hello, been a while since I caught one of these. It's good to see you, mate. Very good to see you. It's been a while. You are absolutely right. It has been a while. How's your dad doing? Good morning, Connor. How's it going, mate? So, I can't pronounce your name because you're Greek. Well, how would you like me to pronounce your name? Give me something I can call you. Great comment there, Bastian. Yes, nowadays together isn't always better. That is true, and I guess that's what should make these streams more fun, right? A lot of people are going to be isolating. A lot of people are going to be in lockdown as it is, and this is a great way for us to collectively hang out as a group, and that's cool. I like that. Get involved. We don't have to be going through this alone. We can be together, if not physically, then emotionally and spiritually. Costas, there we go. Okay, Costas is absolutely fine. I will remember that. See, you are a commenter, and I appreciate you being here. And the least I can do, Costas, remembered. Right, so let me do the usual routine. Books, if you want to check out one of my books on Amazon, our sales are down 70% at the moment. So, yeah, evidently my income can disappear overnight as well. But if you would like to check out one of the books on Amazon, you can check them out just by looking for Levi Clay. You can also find PDF versions of all of these books on the Fundamental Changes website if you want instant access to them. So please do consider checking that out. Also, I have to say the biggest thank you of all time to my Patreon supporters. There's a new name on there, Crawford Doe. Is that Doe? Dow? Crawford. You rock. Thank you very much for your support. It means a lot. With the book sales down as much as 70%, that's most of my income. The books are most of my income. Patreon is a nice chunk of income for me. So Patreon is currently the only consistent thing coming in. So thank you so much for all of your continued support, guys. It really, really does mean a lot. It's very testing and trying times, doing my best to not freak out and to not panic. And the fact that obviously I've had some people that have had to leave Patreon, and I totally understand and appreciate that. Like, I want you guys to be safe and to look after yourselves. But to have new people signing up like Crawford, I can't put into words how much that means to me. So thank you so much, and I hope everybody out there is okay. I hope you're all doing okay. Right, so who else have we got on? Alone Together, yes. Dan says this is the first album that he enjoyed since No More Tears. Wow, that's a really bold comment. That's really fucking bold. But okay, I can't tell you you're wrong. Dan says it's too bad that Ozzy didn't write a full album with Gus and could have got Bob Daisley for writing in there. Would have been a great album. Yeah, Gus didn't really do any writing on this, did he? Which is a shame. Yeah. Oh, Jesse makes a good point here. So Dad put an unreleased Racer X song on YouTube a couple of hours ago, and it was awesome. I really enjoyed that. I gave that a listen. I did listen to it, and of course, it's there as a kind of support for Juan Alderete, the Racer X bass player. I have to be honest. I find it it's not hugely poor taste, but it's minimal poor taste to have released a song for your bass player of your band that he didn't play bass on, that you've then played bass on his behalf. But I did enjoy the recording. It was nice to hear it. And it totally doesn't sound like technical difficulty. It totally doesn't sound like it. I'm sure it's from that recording session, but you see why it wasn't on the album. It doesn't really fit in with the vibe of the album. But it was very good. I did enjoy that. So yeah, Alone Together. Trying to panic flights home. Richard, what's up, my dude? Connor, I'm going to keep saying it. Come back to Scotland. Come stay with us. Lock down here. Nice and cheap here. And yeah, do that. It's good here. Come home, buddy. John Clarkson, how's it going, man? Anything after Bark at the Moon is rubbish. Well, I mean, that's definitely not the case, is it? And I think even Joe Clifford will tell you you're wrong on that one. I mean, Bark at the Moon, aside from Ordinary Man, which is Ozzy's latest album, Bark at the Moon is Ozzy's worst album. That is Ozzy's worst album. Absolutely no question about that. No fucking question about that. And that's actually a really good subject. Let's talk about what we've learned so far, at least what I've learned so far. So I grew up being a huge Ozzy Osbourne fan. Ozzy was and still is one of my favourite recording artists. Ozzy is still my desert island artist. If I got locked away on now's a really bad time for that. If I got locked away on a desert island and I had to be isolated from the rest of the world and I had to take a bunch of music with me, or I could only take one artist with me, it always would have been Ozzy Osbourne. Always would have been Ozzy Osbourne. Probably not right now because I've listened to his music so much in the last few weeks. But it was always Ozzy. Ozzy was always my favourite. And Bark at the Moon, I always loved that record. So having listened to all of these albums again and sort of put them in my mind in terms of the best to the not so best, I have an order. And this is the order that I would put these albums in if somebody came to me having never listened to any Ozzy Osbourne before, and you wanted my list of where you should start. So this is a kind of combination of, it's not necessarily, what's the most important album, but what's really reflective of what the man we're talking about does. And that order for me was Diary of a Madman came right at the top because it's a classic. It's full of great songs. It's a consistent theme that runs through it. Second was Osmosis, believe it or not. People are shocked and horrified by that. But when you listen to songs like Tomorrow, which I think is the best song on that record, Ozzy's voice, it's his best vocal performance on that song, on Tomorrow. He really goes for it. It's some real grizzle in his voice on that song. I love the album. It's consistent in terms of its theme. You might not like the theme, but it is consistent. All of the songs on that album sound like they're from that album. So after that, I had No More Tears. Now, No More Tears is a great record, don't get me wrong, but it drops off after about song 5 or 6. It dips a little bit. But those first 5 or 6 songs are some of Ozzy's best recordings. At number 4, I had Blizzard of Oz, which of course is Ozzy's... It's Ozzy's... Yeah, Blizzard of Oz next, which is Ozzy's debut album. Now, a great record, don't get me wrong, but it's nowhere near as consistent as the rest of his albums. Because it was his first album, he didn't know what sound he was going for. It's a bit all over the place. There's some songs that are rock songs, there's some bluesier rock songs, there's some neoclassical type things on there. There's Goodbye to Romance is it's almost jazzy. So it's not a massively tonally consistent album, but a great record nonetheless. Next up, I put Down to Earth. Down to Earth? Yeah, it's called Down to Earth. One of his newer albums. Shocking that one came above No Rest for the Wicked, but it did, and it's because of that consistency. Down to Earth is what Ozzy Osbourne does. That's what he is. The Prince of Darkness. That album sounds like the Prince of Darkness. So not his best songs. There are some good songs. Don't get me wrong, there's some really good songs on that album, but it's definitely not his best songs. But when you look at what I put next, which was No Rest for the Wicked, well, No Rest for the Wicked is a little bit more tonally inconsistent. It drops off significantly as the album goes on. There are songs on it like Demon Alcohol and Tattooed Dancer, which I think are genuinely quite weak. Fire in the Sky, I could take it or leave it. And yeah, I just think overall it's not quite as strong. And if you need to recommend an Ozzy album to somebody, I don't think you'd ever recommend No Rest for the Wicked over No More Tears. So, yeah, that brings us to No Rest for the Wicked. Then underneath that, we would have The Ultimate Sin, which is the Jake E. Lee penned album, the second Jake E. Lee album. I mean, he wrote Bark at the Moon as well, but he's not credited for it. That album it's got some great moments on it, some really fucking good guitar playing on it, but I think the songs are very weak. I think the songs are actually, some of them are quite embarrassingly poor, very cringy in places. I keep making reference to We Rock, Rock, Rock. Like, come on. I hate it when bands sing about the genre. Hate it. There's a couple of songs on the album where they're singing about rock, singing about just how cool it is to rock. You can be one of us. Do you want to be in my gang? That sort of thing. And I don't like that. But then there's some more heavily political songs about, nuclear war and shit. So which is it? Are you making this teen anthem album where you can recruit a new generation of fans? Or are you saying something serious, like trying to do War Pigs all over again? It's difficult. Didn't like it all that much. Then, shockingly, the Bark at the Moon, right? Solo, that was always one of my favourite Ozzy albums. But it's fallen off my radar because while it has one amazing song on it, the title track, and in my opinion, Slow Down is another great song, aside from that album has way too many ballads on it, and it has some obnoxious keyboard parts on it. Some really, obnoxiously in-your-face keyboard parts that come out of nowhere and ruin songs. So that one goes right down in my list of estimations. And then at the bottom, dead last, is his latest album, 2020's Ordinary Man. So, there we go. Right, let me read these comments. We got... Maybe your next listening party series can be one album from the Big Four, Megadeth, Metallica, Slayer, Anthrax. Maybe. I mean, I'd rather do all of them. Yeah, John. Joe says you may not find support, but that he's kind of right. Like, everyone to their own. Everyone to their own. I'd just say that, maybe the reason you say anything after Bark at the Moon is rubbish. People that tend to have opinions like that tend to have not even listened to those things, and I know what that's about. I've been there. I've done that. Like, I do exactly the same with Dream Theater. Exactly the same with Dream Theater. There was a point where I stopped listening to them and I will say anything after that point is rubbish, and it's more that I'd lost interest in it. So yeah. Jesse says, I wouldn't say it's my favourite, but an underdog, he really likes The Ultimate Sin. Fair enough. There were some really shit songs on that last album, Black Rain. Oh shit, I completely forgot about Black Rain. How did I forget about Black Rain? Black Rain, I can't even remember where I put Black Rain. I think I put it above The Ultimate Sin. Maybe. I'd have to think about that. It's a very consistent album. Again, it's tonally from start to finish. It sounds like Ozzy. Well, it sounds like Black Label Society, but it sounds like Prince of Darkness Ozzy, and I'm okay with that. Noise gate is cutting me a little bit. Let me boost the volume on my microphone. That should improve things. Maybe a little bit. We will. Let me know, Richard. I'm reading your comments, so please do let me know if that cuts me in any way, shape, or form. I knew someone was going to comment on the shirt. I deliberately picked this shirt because I always get compliments on this shirt. Whenever I wear this shirt out in public, a stranger will say, "That's a really cool t-shirt. Where did you get it?" It was a gift from my friend Katie Nelson. So, thank you, Katie. Right. Hey, Levi, I just watched your turning modes into full chords video. How does one practice to reach your level of fluidity on the fretboard? I've been playing guitar a really long time, man. These streams aren't really about guitar lessons. Like, I'm not really here to teach you how to play, but I've been playing guitar a very, very long time, and I've had a fascination with how the fretboard fits together and really learning the ins and outs of how everything works. I think the most important thing that you have to remember is that everything that you play is chords. Every single thing that you play on the instrument is harmony, and that's the point of that video. Thinking about not scales, but thinking vertically with things. When I play a note, I'm not just playing a note. I'm playing a note in relation to something else. I'm playing over a chord. How does this note affect the overall harmony? So because I've always thought, well, not always, there came a point in my study when I stopped thinking linear and started thinking harmonically. That's when things started to come together a little bit more. Hello, Dennis. How's it going? Haven't heard this album in 10 years. Can't really remember it. Yeah, I've not listened to it in a very long time. Leon Barron says, never listened to an Aussie album before. If the kids can stay asleep, we'll give this one a listen with you. Yeah, do it, man. It's a shame it's this one. It's certainly not Aussie's best. But I'm happy that you are here. I'm very happy you are here. People will notice that Leon has a little wrench next to his name. That's because he's one of my admins. He's one of my moderators. I mean, I don't think he actually does any moderating, but he got that by super chatting me. Or maybe being a Patreon supporter. I mean, he is a Patreon supporter, but let's prove it. Where's your name, Leon? It's up there. Or from the top on the left. Leon's a good guy. Yeah, so if you would like to get that little thing next to your name so people know you're important, send me a super chat and I'll make you an admin. Recruiting the kids for the post-nuclear apocalypse cult, yeah. The tribe on us. Rusty Cooley's album. Oh, okay, Costas. It's funny you mentioned that, actually. Rusty just emailed me today and sent me a download link for his new band's it's Day of Reckoning, but it's a new EP album type thing. He just sent me that today, so I'm going to check that out later on tonight. I'm hoping to have Rusty back on the channel. I'll have him on again soon, and we will do something together, because Rusty's great. So, yeah, nice guy. Marshall says the video for So Tired was one of the most confusing in his... I've not seen it. I didn't know there was a video for it. Scott Cassidy with your classic hello from East Kilbride. You just constantly, every time, the same thing. People forget spiders. That sounds cool now that Jake does live. Okay, sure. Leon, the album to start with. Honestly, if I'm consistent, I have to say Diary of a Madman. That's a little old, though. That's Ozzy's second album. Personally, if I had to put an album on in the car, if I'm going for a drive, I'm going to go for Osmosis. I'm going to put Osmosis on, which is like a 1995 album. It's a really good album. I really like it. Big fan of that album. So, yeah. But, what is that? Volkolak. Yeah, it's not, of course, like... While I am trying to sell books because I have a fucking family to feed and we are in really tough financial times right now, if you just look at my soloing school series of videos on YouTube, there's a lot of content in there that will help you think a little bit more harmonically about things. A lot of content. Alternatively, you can join us on Patreon. Be like one of those top tier guys that gets a monthly lesson, or be like the study club guys that get access to my monthly study club streams, which are educational streams where we look at a book and we talk about it. Anyway, let me tell you about this album then. So Scream, the Ozzy Osbourne album. Scream is the 11th studio album by Ozzy Osbourne, released in the United Kingdom on the 14th of June 2010. I remember this album coming out. I remember where I was when this album came out. It streamed. He streamed the entire thing beforehand, and I streamed it, and I wasn't impressed. I didn't have much love for the album. I bought it, and then a little while after it came out, I got the interview with Gus G. I had to interview Gus G. And before going down to talk to Gus, it was obviously in promotion for this album. So before doing that, I spent a lot more time really listening to the album, and I really enjoyed it, actually. The more I went into it, the more I dug my ears in, the more I stopped being a stubborn fucking asshole and actually listened to the record, I did enjoy it. There are definitely some moments that are kind of cool. So, yeah. It grew on me, and maybe it will grow on you. The album was recorded at Osbourne's home studio, The Bunker, in Los Angeles, California, and produced by himself and Kevin Churko, who had previously worked on Black Rain in 2007. The album was considered commercially disappointing in comparison to Osbourne's earlier work, though it was a moderate success, reaching number 4 on the US Billboard 200 chart and number 12 on the UK Albums chart. The album was originally to have been titled Soul Sucker, but this was changed before release to Scream after fans voiced their objections. It is Osbourne's only album to feature guitarist Gus G, who replaced long-term guitarist Zakk Wylde. The drums on the album were recorded by Kevin Churko, though Tommy, we're just going to go with Tommy. Lefetos? It's a name I've read a million times but never said, for the obvious reasons. Tommy was credited. As he was touring with Osbourne's band at the time. Scream is also the first release to feature keyboardist Adam Wakeman, who had worked with Osbourne as a touring musician since 2004. The lead single released from the album was Let Me Hear You Scream, which peaked at number 6 on the American Rock Songs chart. It's Osbourne's first album since 1986's The Ultimate Sin to use his classic logo on the cover art. A 2-CD tour edition version of the album was released in the US in the 5th of October. This package contained the original album on disc 1 and a second CD with 7 bonus songs. One More Time, originally an iTunes pre-order exclusive. Jump the Moon, originally a bonus Japanese track. Hand of the Enemy, a previously unreleased track from the Scream sessions, and 4 additional live tracks recorded during the UK leg of the Scream tour. Bark at the Moon, Let Me Hear You Scream, No More Tears, and a live recording of Black Sabbath's Fairies Wear Boots. 4-sided blah blah blah, don't care. Let's just quickly look at the background. So to promote the album, To promote the album, an Ozzy Osbourne track pack had been released as downloadable content for the Rock Band video game series containing 3 Scream songs. No one cares. So there's no real backstory behind the album. It's just something that happened, right? And I struggle with this because obviously it's Ozzy Osbourne and Kevin Churko are credited as the writers on the album, and Ozzy doesn't write music. Ozzy doesn't play or write music, right? So how good are you expecting this to be? It's the problem with stuff like this is it's always trying to live up to the image of what Ozzy is. And at this stage in Ozzy's career, his sound is so defined by Zakk Wylde. It really is defined by the sound of Zakk Wylde. It's such a prominent part of the writing team for such a long time. I think this just feels to me like Kevin Churko is just trying to sound like Zakk Wylde, and writing-wise. And it's not... doesn't do it for me. So let me read some comments. Levi, have to disagree that Ozzy is going to get the virus. He's just unkillable, and everyone in his family is most likely to pass before he does. Well, in a perfect world, that would be true. Do I only teach people with a reasonable grasp of theory? No, not at all. Not at all. I have a bunch of students that have gone from knowing absolutely nothing about music theory, and they're now starting to play jazz stuff. And I'm talking like guys in their 50s and 60s that have gone from knowing nothing to being able to actually play over changes, play melodies, and really sort of unlock their potential on the instrument. So I guess that's what you get when you've been teaching as long as I have, and when you take education as seriously as I have. Right. Is Adam Wakeman Rick Wakeman's son? Let's have a look. Yeah, he is Rick Wakeman's son. Cool. Did not know that. Have to be honest, did not care. Right, let me just check my Facebook comments, see if there's any questions that have come in over there, and then we will get this album going. Oh no, I'm competing with Tom Monda. Tom Monda is currently live streaming on Facebook. Right. Cool. Bring this album up. So, here is the album. Make myself nice and big. I'm going to keep myself up on screen for almost the entire thing, so you can always see what we're listening to and where we are in the track. I did a cover of the Almighty Dollar. I couldn't help myself. I had so much fun. Let me play it for you. I'll probably get a copyright strike for this now, won't I? It's not that. Fuck is this? After that stream the other day where we were listening to Black Rain, and I love the song "The Almighty Dollar," I was just sat down in the evening transcribing and doing my thing I do for a living, and I was like, you know what? I want to record those vocal parts, but then the more I got to recording the vocal parts, I was like, well, I guess I have to lay all the rhythms down and put some drums down and all that stuff. So I did all of that. And it allowed me to analyse the track a little bit more. And there's two things. I always say the thing I love about this is the vocal harmony. The vocal harmony is wonderful in Black Rain. The Almighty Dollar. I think it's very, very cool. But if you listen to the harmony, if you listen, the chords, if you listen to the chords, it's chromatic. It moves down chromatically. Very, very cool. So, yeah, sorry, but here it is. Into the air and atmosphere, watching the rain come down. Turn your head away, ignore the fear, watching the ice crash down. And that guitar is tuned low. I recorded that on my 8-string, which is tuned to F. So, yeah, apologies for that, but just reminding you that when I'm done with these types of streams, I'm not done. Like, the music permeates my brain, and that particular chorus on The Almighty Dollar is something that I have had. That's an earworm that I have had in my ear for 13 fucking years, and it's still there. So, yeah, accidentally recording a complete cover. It wasn't even a job, you know what I mean? Like, I have paying work that needs fucking doing, and I had to do it. I stopped doing the work that I was doing, and I was just like, okay, let's track the drums and let's get the guitar and play some keyboards behind it, and let's do the vocals. It was fun. I did enjoy myself. I love doing stuff like that. I'll give you actually another example of stuff like that I do. I did this. Not share my entire screen when I do this. I did this for someone. This was a lot of fun. A lot of fun, actually. I'm not a singer. Like, it's really important to know I'm not a singer by any stretch of the imagination. So when I do stuff like this, it's purely because I can't get stuff out of my head. This was actually a job. Somebody wanted this, but then I had to record it all because I just had to record it all. I've had my share of sand kicked in my face, but I've come through. And I need to go on and on and on and on. We are the champions, my friends. And we'll keep on fighting till the end. We the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions of the world. That was a fun little project to do. I definitely enjoyed that. Much appreciation for Freddie after doing that. That was kind of cool. I enjoyed that. Right, so let me just read these last comments and then we will get streaming. So again, last warning. Head into the comments section, the description. That's the word I'm looking for. There's a link to this album on Spotify. You can queue it up and we're going to hit play together. I've got the expanded edition listed up because why the hell not? I wouldn't say I have a great voice. I have what you describe as a backing vocal voice. I do not have a lead voice. I do not have the power in my voice to carry like a lead vocal on something. I've got what you might describe as a fat voice. Shock horror. It's very round, very so it pads things. It does pad things out. I'm singing all the backing vocals on that. Obviously, I'm not singing the lead vocal. The lead vocal was Freddie Mercury's isolated vocal. I took Freddie's isolated vocal and then I sang all the harmonies underneath it, which was a shit ton of fun. I did enjoy it. It was a lot of fun. Anyway, Joe says, I have to admit being a stubborn git myself, old and grumpy according to some. So let's see if I was wrong again. I think you might be right on this one, Joe. It's not the best album, but I certainly wouldn't say. I would never make a comment like, anything after Bark at the Moon isn't worth listening to. Everything is worth listening to. I think as objective listeners, the best thing we can do is we can listen to anything and find something that we like about it. And listen to anything and find something that we don't like about it. I can take my favourite albums of all time and find things in them that I don't like because that's being objective. And likewise, if you present me with something that isn't my usual genre, isn't the usual thing that I would listen to, maybe I outright say, I don't like this. I'm going to go out of my way to find something about it that I like, because what I'm really trying to do is I'm trying to understand what it is that the person that does like it likes. What is in this that someone else is enjoying? So I'm going to do that with Scream. I'm going to try and find the things I like, find the things that I don't like. Right, so final warning. We are on your 10-second warning any second now. Link in the comments. No, let's try that one more time. Link in the description. Go get this album queued up on iTunes or Apple or Tidal or wherever it is you stream music. Maybe you're like me and you own this on CD and you want to play the CD along with me. That's absolutely fine too. I'm going to keep the Spotify thing on so people can see where we are in the tracks at all times. And let's do it. So, in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Needs more cowbell. It's a great solo, Gus is a great player. Yeah, it just randomly loses the tempo that we had. Keyboards. You're a dealer, are you? Yeah. So we've got the double tracked vocal there, but you can do that because he's not having to be in tune. Vocal harmony. Da 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 ba 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 da. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Hero. Da 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 ba 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 da. Liar. This goes on for quite a while. Remember how long this goes on now? I am you. Let it die. Yeah. Okay, I do like this tune. I do like this song. It's a good song. Just wish it was Zakk Wylde. The keyboard parts are quite cool. They're not too, invasive. Just that piano, it's just enough, you know. Da 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 da, ba da da da, da 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 da. Da 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 da, da 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 da. Maybe that repeating rhythm gets a little bit obnoxious, but it's also addictive. I don't like the sort of distortion on his voice. I am you. I think the guitar riff there with a slide down a tone sounds a little bit weird. It's not what you expect, but go on, Gus. Go on, my son. Great solo. A huge change. He is mimicking Zakk, but he can play. It was my main criticism of hiring Gus for the band, and I mentioned this last time. Like, Gus is a great player. He really is. He didn't need to join Ozzy's band because he's already a huge player. Ozzy could have given this gig to an up and comer and put someone on the map. Gus was already on the map. The guitar scene already knew who Zakk was. Gus was. Quite a long song, 6 minutes. The longest song on the album, just. It's a revelation, celebration, graduation. I do kind of like the production and the vocals on it. Sherko's kind of really picked the right bits to add vocal harmonies to, and which parts to thicken out with doubled vocals and all that. Production-wise, the vocals, I feel a lot more care has gone into the vocals. He's kind of really gone out of his way to make Ozzy sound as good as Ozzy can sound. When you compare it to like early Ozzy albums, where it's just Ozzy double tracking all the vocals. So this is the single from the album. It's a good riff. Really cool guitar parts. Only the strong survive. Let me hear you scream like you want it. Go, go, go. Second Olive with Ozzy would be cool as shit. I have no idea, Cowcat. I'd be surprised. Probably not, because obviously Gus plays with Floyd. Right off your face. If you really listen to the lead guitar parts in these verses, in fairness to him, like that's not like what Zakk would do on a track like this. He's not playing it like Zakk would. So no matter how much he screams on that, scream like you want it. It's nowhere near as aggressive as his scream on the song Tomorrow from Osmosis. Let me hear you scream. Never hear Zakk playing sliding fifths like that. This mic's definitely a bit hot. Scream like you want it. Yeah, like you mean it. Yeah, like you mean it. Zakk. This is what they were going to name the album after. Oh, Joe, are you a Kiko fan? We're having him on the channel soon. Yeah, it has a cool "Me When I'm Angry." Nice vocal harmony. Don't even breathe. Yeah, I don't like the guitar tone. I'll give you that. It's funny you say that, Dennis. You're obviously right. Like, I know that. I fucking interviewed him. And he was playing the Les Paul when I interviewed him. Zakk. Just going to pull up a picture. I kind of feel with the chorus in this song, it's similar in terms of like the Almighty Dollar. This is a great chorus. Kevin Churko chorus, evidently. You got that so right out of me. Ah, so Zakk. Ah. My beard's better. Just gone into the album that this is in, and it's I'm finding other pictures. but much cooler than that. Zakk Wylde's funny. Oh. I feel like there's a lot of musically on this album. A lot of like that middle section sounded like it was from another song, and they just forced it in there. I don't really like that. But it's like I don't even bleed. My soul's like out of my way. Where's that vocal? That's a really cool vocal harmony on the low harmony on that. Great vocal harmony. Ah, Osaka. Zakk was such a cool. I've met Zakk a few times. Interviewing him was cool because he was fun. Just a really fun guy. Like that picture, that was totally his idea. I was like, "Can we get a picture?" He was like, "Take my guitar," and I'm like, "Right." He's like, "Do something like really crazy on it, and why don't we get a picture where it looks like you're giving me a lesson and like you're playing something like I can't believe what you're doing." That was 5 years ago. Here we go, the Aussie Ballad. Why is it in 7? Why is that section in 7? Like, is that what Aussie fans wanted? A bit more progressive stuff from Aussie. That vocal has been so massaged. Oh wow! So you've gone and done the research, Cowcat. Well done. What's he tuned it to? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Da. Why? I'm being critical of it, but then I remember it's Ozzy Osbourne's vocals over the top of it, so I'm happy that it's Ozzy Osbourne. It would be wrong of me to say one of the greatest singers of all time, but one of my favourite singers. Six, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, it's 8 at the end. It's just not really an Aussie song. That riff is. Stank face. Let me listen to that vocal. Is it not just him double tracking his vocals? Well. Okay, so I can answer the question, Justice's question. Yeah, so he's doubled the vocal, but because it's been auto-tuned, it doesn't give you the same effect. I've talked about this a lot. When you listen to Diary of a Madman, when he doubles these vocals on that, there's no pitch correction on it, so you have these vocals that are similar, but not exactly the same. So it just sounds thick. Whereas in this, I think he sung it and then it's been pitch corrected, which has pushed them so close to being the same that it doesn't really thicken the vocal. It sounds like there's a phasing thing going on, phasing issue. That's my perspective on it, though. Digging Me Down's a good song. Trying to be Diary of a Madman. And these keyboard parts are good. They complement the song. If you go back and listen to Bark at the Moon, okay, we're going through some changes. So are we saying that Kevin Churko wrote that? That's Gus G, isn't it? Come on. I agree with you on that. I don't think the guitars sound great on this record. They sounded better on Black Rain. Sounded good on Black Rain. Sounded like Zakk Wylde. Again, if you go back to Ozzy's first album, there's no double kick pedal on that album. The overdub parts help with the arrangement. Oh, Connor, you know that that's getting covered on Guitar Souls. Big chorus. Taking me down. I'm a sucker for a chorus, and that is a chorus. But those vocal things there sound like keyboards. Oh, ah, oh, ah. Black Star, yeah, he was playing Black Star. Has anyone made a Black Star sound good? Bohemian Rapture. I like that. Beware the dark side of the sun. Just for you. It's the vocal harmony. Vocal harmony's great on that. How long? Da 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 da. Da. A lot more 3-note string there than you would expect to hear in like a Zakk Wylde solo. So drums sound huge. Oh, and Kevin played the drums himself, didn't he? Yeah. Sounded like there was a bad piano note in there. This came out right when I was tracking all of the guitars for my album. Sorry, when I interviewed Gus, it was when I was listening to this album a lot and writing guitars. And that part in there reminds me of one of the songs on my album. The song Eulogy. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I actually think this might have rubbed off on that song a little bit. Marty, do you mean the album or the song? Da-da-da. Okay. Crucify, I remember the song being a good song. So. You know what I mean? Like, it's these, aside from the song Life Won't Wait, which is your cheesy Aussie ballad, that sounds like Slash. This album sounds like Aussie. Sounds like Aussie. Because Gunnerman, that would be copyright infringement, wouldn't it? While I'm slitting your throat. It's cutting, not slitting. I'm gonna swear on the Bible while I'm selling you lies. This is a good chorus. Very good. The link is in the description to check the album out. Gotta respect people's copyright, man. Great chorus. Because the guitar riff plays the same in it. Da, ba, da, 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 over the top of it with the overdub part. It's a guitar or keyboards, but either way, nice. Good riff. Not crazy on Wah. Great vocal production. This guitar part over the top is very cool. Same idea as the chorus. If you listen to the melody, you have the riff that stays on one chord, and the low note of that melody changes up and then back down. Pure as happy. Under the pedal riff. Probably ruined that by singing over the whole thing, but you get the idea. That's cool. I like that chorus. Very good chorus. This is like a Rick Beato, what makes this song great. Real time. Do I remember this song? To me, this album has that down-to-earth vibe in that it sounds like what Ozzy looks like. That makes sense. Same thing there. He's got the double track vocals, but because they've been squashed into each other in terms of pitch correction, it doesn't sound big. Then water. I'm fearless. Don't like this song. It's generic. I'm fearless. I believe you though, Ozzy. I think you're still probably riding quad bikes every day. That's very Zakk Wylde. I am warrior. I'm fearless. Yeah. Some cool guitar playing, but it's that same problem, isn't it? Like, is it as cool as anything on No Rest for the Wicked? Is it as cool as anything on No More Tears or The Ultimate Sin, or you know what I mean? Like, I have respect for that though. To be fair, like as Ozzy's albums go on, they become less about the guitar playing and they become more about Ozzy, which you would expect. Osmosis is my favorite Ozzy album, and there's not all that much guitar solos on that album. They're in there, but it's a lot of like melodies played on the guitar. It's all about Ozzy, which is probably what it should be. Yeah, not crazy on that song, but it fits the album. Uh, as I'm about to go into Aerials by System of a Down. Yeah, I believe you sang that Aussie with no pitch correction. I really like that, actually, the mix. But because Ozzy's vocals are clearer, it's easier to hear them. They don't sound as good. Double tracking on that hasn't helped. I love this chorus. Blow your Marcus mind. That's a really cool. The last chord changes. It doesn't go where you expect it to. That's a really good chorus. Oh, how did I miss that? There was a slide. Nice little modulation there for the picks up a gear. Bass sounds good. Who played bass on this record? Really listen to this chorus. I like this chorus a lot. It's Rob Nicholson on bass. And I like this. There's another, like a new section to the song. And unlike with like Let It Die and the other songs where you had all these things that didn't really belong, that belongs. Way too much processing on the vocal there. Time bomb ready to blow your tortured mind. That's a really nice chord change. I'm not interested in the. I'm not appreciating production technicalities. I'm appreciating the chord change in that chorus. Remember, I'm really consistent with my thoughts on things like this. To me, a good song is one where you could sing the melody and strum the chords on an acoustic guitar and still have a song. With this song, you could do that. It is overproduced. That vocal. Cheesy as fuck. Pizzicato strings. Cheesy as fuck. Plink, 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 plink. That's cheesy as fuck. But the song itself, I think the song is there. You know what I mean, though, when I say, like, there's this album, it's not incredible, right? But it's not garbage. Same double track vocals sound like garbage. Again, though, let's say my wife, let's say she's never listened to an Ozzy album. She says, where should I start? This isn't a bad album. You could put this on and have it introduced as what Ozzy is about. It's not a best example. Oh, this chorus is good. This chorus is good. I remember it. Modulation. Non-diatonic chord change. How much would you get for? I don't know the lyrics. I want it more. I disagree, Eric. What about the guy on the new album? You like the song, do you, Joe? I, while I love a good chorus, and this is a good chorus. It's very pop. I love Toto and like that big American stadium 80s power ballad, not power ballad, power band choruses. This has that. It might be a little cheesy for Ozzy, but this is cool. Nice chord changes. Wanted more. So you're remembering the song Cowcat. Good. Summon him some Zakk Wylde. Not the worst. It just kind of feels like it's a different song. Chord change. If you think of this and that, how much did you give her? Like, what is this? This is a different song entirely. How much did you do? Well, where is he doing? I like it. Why is that there? What did that achieve? Why was that there? You spent all your time trying to figure out what you could do. You spent no time thinking about whether or not you should. I like those lines. Anytime you get a nice kind of voice-led melody that can fit for a chord progression, like it ties it all together really well. I love that type of thing. I talk about if you watch my video where I talk about what is it? The hardest lesson that you can teach on guitar. It's ear training. It's hearing chord changes and it's hearing how chords stick together. The glue, if you like, and that is one of the exercises that I have people practice with chord progressions and singing a line that goes through them or hearing a line that goes through them. Yeah. So I've just seen the next song, I Love You All. It's a 1 minute long. I remember it now. I mean, I think a lot of people are guilty of that, though. Wylde Bates Terribliss. I tried. You get a lot of that on the early Zakk Wylde stuff. It took him time with Ozzy to sort of get that confidence in his playing to, record the No More Tears solo, where he tells a story. I'm glad we're sharing in this together, though, guys. I am. So I would say, honestly, the only song on this album that I didn't like a lot was Fearless. Every other song has had something in it that I thought was really cool. Guitars are very strange in this song. Very strange. But I'm going to be doing a lot more of them, Dan. Well, not a lot more of them, pal. I'll keep doing them. We'll be able to expand beyond Ozzy. Meedly, 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 meow. Oh, yeah, Benjamin. So, if you really think about it, yeah. I know it's Ozzy later on in his career, like really late on in his career, right? But it's just not a bad album. It just isn't. I didn't expect Ordinary Man to be very good, and I was right. I hoped this album was going to be good when it came out, and it's grown on me a lot. It's good. It's a good record. It is a good record. I'll never hurt you. I'm starting to rank it now. Where does it fall in my list? That's tricky. This is the last track. It's just like a little outro, if you like. This sounds like Dream Theater. It sounds like part of Metropolis Part 2. That's so Dream Theater. If that was right there, sorry, I'm not supposed to stop playing. If that right there was how it ended, how Ozzy's career ended, I'd be okay with it. So these next 3 songs are bonus songs. I will just listen to them briefly and I'll give you my thoughts on them. I've never heard these before, so I like the riff. I would definitely put some of these songs on my best of playlist, yeah. I'd need to really think about it to know what they are, which ones they would be, though. I don't like the chorus in this, it's slowed down. It doesn't sound like an Aussie song. Earlier I said the only song I didn't like was Fearless. I forgot Life Won't Wait, which is the ballad. I think this album's got more songs on it that I would put on an Aussie best of than Bark at the Moon does, and The Ultimate Sin. It's the same problem. Like, there's no song on this album that is as good as the song Bark at the Moon. There is no song on this album that is as good as the song Shot in the Dark. But overall, that's the first time that's ever happened. I've done a stream and I've lost a patron. Someone really didn't like this album. That's so. What Richard says there is the point for me. It's definitely disjointed. Some of the songs jump around a little bit, but the album definitely has a theme that runs right through it. Can't say that you've heard a terrible song. Not too bad. Extreme's a really good shout, actually. Yeah, I'm glad this song didn't make it onto the album. I think the intro riff was really cool on that, but the song itself, no thank you. No thank you. It's a very strange vocal melody to go with that. It's not the worst, but shouldn't be on the album. There we go. Someone else asked about the t-shirt. This was a gift from my friend Katie Nelson. I enjoyed that. It was well executed. Here's a question I have for you guys. How would you feel about a listening party stream that was longer than this? Like, much longer. Like doing 5 consecutive albums. I don't know how I feel about it. If that was on the album, I wouldn't mind. Like, it wasn't a bad song. Didn't like Hand of the Enemy. All right, we're gone disco. Yeah, this had no business being on the album. Talking about what Richard mentioned, you know, this wouldn't fit. This doesn't fit in with the theme of the album. Not a bad chorus. So I think this entire album is really full of. There's a lot of really good choruses that aren't great songs all the way through. And here's another question for you, Joe. I would assume that the best way to enjoy a listening party stream is live, where you're able to comment and I'm able to respond to the comments, right? It's okay. Coming in. That bass doesn't have a lot of bass to it. There could just be the guitars. There's just not enough low end on that guitar. So he's just high past them just a bit much. I feel like when he's palm muting, the chunky end of the in the mix is just missing a little bit. Okay, there we have it. Scream, the expanded edition, consumed in its entirety. Yeah, I think you know what I'm going to say about this album. I think it's good. I think it's a good record. It's obviously not Ozzy's best record. I'm not going to put this up there as good as Diary of a Madman. That's never going to happen. But I do like it. It's definitely got some good songs on it. It's got some really good choruses on it. I think I'm confident. I'm happy to say that it's got some really, really good choruses on it, and I like that as a thing. You know, like really choruses being important. Uh, just looking at them in order. So, Scream. Yeah, I think it's better than Black Rain. It's definitely better than Black Rain. Actually, Black Rain's got some really good moments on it, but Scream has more consistent moments. It's definitely better than Black Rain. Is it better than Down to Earth? That's a really tough question. I think it's actually probably better than Down to Earth, believe it or not. But then that puts me in a really tricky position because I don't think it's better than No Rest for the Wicked. I think Down to Earth is probably a better. Okay, that summarizes it perfectly, right? I think that Down to Earth is a not important. How would you put this? It's a better album to check out if you wanted to listen to what Ozzy Osbourne is and what Ozzy Osbourne does. But I think No Rest for the Wicked is a better album than, you know. That's just the guitarist in me speaking, isn't it? Yeah, you can tell that I'm putting a lot of thought into this, like it matters, and I guess in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't actually matter at all. I would say no. It's not better than Down to Earth. Actually, Down to Earth, it's got some good songs on it. It's got some really good choruses on it and stuff. But all of the songs fit from start to finish, and there are sections in these songs that just feel like there have been riffs that have been thrown together. But it is a good album. It's a good album. So I would say I'm going to put my list. I'm going to mull this over for a little bit and work on the playlist before I'm going to make an actual video for YouTube where I talk about these Aussie albums, put them in order, and link people to a playlist where they can check them all out. But I think Diary of a Madman #1, Osmosis #2, No More Tears #3, Blizzard of Oz #4, Blizzard of Oz #4, Down to Earth, No Rest for the Wicked, Scream, Black Rain, The Ultimate Sin, Bark at the Moon, Ordinary Man. Yeah, there's no way it's better than Down to Earth. I had to really think about that one, and you are right, but I really had to think about it, and I'll explain why I had to really think about that. Down to Earth is a really good album. It's a really good album, but it doesn't have. If I look at Scream, there are. When I look at that, okay, Let It Die is a cool song. Let Me Hear You Scream's okay. Soul Sucker has a really cool chorus in it. Life Won't Wait can get in the bin. Digging Me Down has a cool chorus in it. Crucify has a really fucking cool chorus in it. Fearless not so much. Time has a really cool chorus. I Want It More has a really cool chorus. Even Latimer's Mercy has a good-ish chorus in it. Like, they all have really high points in the songs. Whereas when you look at Down to Earth, let me just pull that up. When I look at Down to Earth, gets me through. All right, cool. Facing Hell's cool. I do like that actually. Dreamer is cheesy Aussie ballad, but I do like that one. No Easy Way Out is a good song, but none of these. I don't look at any of these and say these have a really good chorus, like a pop chorus is what I'm really talking about here. Like something that's going to appeal to someone maybe outside of the metal scene, something that's going to pull people in. That aren't rockers or metalheads, and then use that as a vehicle to bring them over to this as a sound. So I think Scream has a lot more of those, but overall, is Ozzy about that? And the answer is probably no. I think Down to Earth is a better representation of what Ozzy is. Scream is probably a good way of getting people into it. Scream is an example of an album. If I wanted my mother-in-law to hear what Ozzy is all about, Scream is maybe a good place to have her be introduced to Ozzy, because it might lure her into some of the other moments. Saying that, is probably better places that you would go. I would still say go listen to Diary of a Madman. So yeah, no, you are absolutely right. Scream is definitely not as good as down to earth. But yeah, I'm relatively happy with that as a list. Diary of a Madman. Let's do that one more time. Diary of a Madman. Osmosis. People are going to hate me for that for all time, aren't they? No More Tears. Blizzard of Oz. Down to Earth. No Rest for the Wicked. Scream. Black Rain. The Ultimate Sin. Bark at the Moon. Ordinary Man. You'll notice some people might take issue with the fact that I didn't listen to the 2005 album Undercover. This is listed as the 9th studio album by Ozzy Osbourne, but I don't count it because it's all covers. So for that reason alone, it's not really an Ozzy album, you know. I can't really say that confidently, can I? Because I've not listened to it. You might put a real Ozzy spin on all of these, but I just don't see it. There's Jerry Cantrell on guitar. Joe Clifford, thank you very much for the super chat, buddy. I really appreciate that. It totally makes up for the fact that I lost a patron doing this stream. I think it's the first of many. I think we're heading for some really fucking tough times, and yeah, your appreciation, your support there is really appreciated. Thank you very much. I've enjoyed you tuning in for these. I really have. You've been a lot of fun in these. And to have you, it was on Down to Earth, wasn't it, that you changed your mind on it so dramatically, which is cool. That's all we can ever really hope for when we're dealing with people on the internet, right? Which is when you're talking to people, which is really what I'm doing. I'm talking with people and having conversations that people will listen with open ears and take people's opinions on board. I don't want people to come round to my way of thinking, but certainly understand where I'm coming from when I say the things I say. And likewise, I love getting involved with you guys in these and taking on board the things you say and getting your perspective on these things. I know that like, you know, here where we've got how about Master of Reality or Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, isn't Sabbath Bloody Sabbath Zakk Wylde's favourite album, along with most every metal guitarist except Levi Will Help You. You know, I dig that, like, because when enough people are talking about let's do Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, it makes me go, well, maybe there is more to Sabbath than, I don't just mean the album, I mean the band, than I ever got from them. I was never really into Sabbath, but that's because I got into metal music in the early 2000s, you know, so Black Sabbath to me always sounded really old. They sounded like, you know, a band that I was going to say my dad would listen to, but actually even my dad's not that old. My dad was born in the very late 60s. He would have been, you know, like when Sabbath were in their peak, he wasn't even 10. So maybe even a band that my granddad would have been more into than my dad, though my granddad was more into Django Reinhardt. But you know what I mean? Like, it's of that generation. And I'm not saying that Sabbath suck, don't get me wrong. It's just, it's of an era and production that I don't hate it. Don't get me wrong, I don't hate it. There are just other things that I want to listen to. There are other things that I've been more drawn to over the years, and Ozzy was that. I was more drawn to Ozzy than Sabbath, and that's the way that always was. So, yeah. When I listen to Ozzy's vocals on the Sabbath recordings, it amazes me that he had a career as a singer. It really does. When you listen to, like, if you think of him on The Wizard, like, that's the vocal on that is just very, very weird. And of course, oh Jesus, War Pigs. Oh, generals gather in their masses just like witches at black masses. Sorry, did you just rhyme masses with masses? You massive asshole. Yeah. So thank you very much for your kindness and support, Joe Clifford. I really do appreciate it. Long rant to say thank you. For anyone else that is still with us and still watching, there are 16 people still with us and watching, which is very cool of you. Thank you very much. You know, I've never really listened to Queensryche. I've transcribed a few bits here and there, like riffs and choruses for a few people, but it certainly weren't a band that I was listening to when I was... Right, let me say a huge thank you to my supporters over on Patreon. You right now are a fucking lifeline to me. Thank you. This whole situation that's going on right now hasn't really set in with me. I'm making all these dramatic changes to the way I'm doing things in life to try and stop the spread of this virus and stop it from killing the world, which sounds extremely dramatic, right? But I've always taken not always, like, I kind of felt that I'll be okay, even though I'm seeing all of my friends like lose all of their income, which is, you know, terrifying for them. I took that attitude of I'll be okay, I'll be okay, I'll be okay. And as time is going on, I'm less being okay. Like I say, book sales are down 70%. 70%. That's overall. That's going to be a good 40% of my monthly wage disappeared there. And so it means a lot that the people that are still sticking with me on Patreon, means a lot that you are still there. I do appreciate that very much. If you would like to check me out on Patreon, there is a link in the description. There's a PayPal donate button as well if that is more your style. There is also, you can join me on YouTube by clicking the YouTube join button. All of these things get you access to my Facebook group, my private Facebook group. Plus all the other stuff. You get tons of stuff out of being a supporter. And that feel-good feeling of knowing that you are stopping me from starving. Though, obviously, like, I've got a long way to go before I starve, but my family, not so much. Eat fast in this house. If you don't eat fast, I'll eat it. If you don't eat fast, you don't eat at all. Trying to sell my books right now seems absolutely insane because, as I say, sales are down about 70%. I don't think people are buying books right now, but I am going to say that they are there because who knows? Maybe if the world doesn't end, people will be watching this stream 5 years from now and they might see this and go, oh, that Delta Blue slide guitar book looks really good. I'm going to go and check that out. So if you do that, thank you very much. Right, let's have a look. How are you doing, Richard, though? Is everything okay with you? How's your work situation? You having trouble with work? I still have the faith, Joe. I'm doing good. I've always made sure I kept a decent amount of money aside in my savings. Like, I don't like my money to dip below a certain amount. So if worst case scenario happens and I don't have any income for a month or 2 months, that will be okay. I'm just hoping this doesn't stretch out for more than 5 or 6 months, because then things will be tricky. Saying that, my wife, she works in a bank. She's a manager. Like, she makes money. We're certainly not rich, but her job is pretty secure. So with that, plus the pittance that I'll be bringing in during this whole situation, we should be okay. And based on that, I'll let you know, is what I'm getting at, right? If my life gets if something terrible happens and I look at my bank balance in a month and I say, guys, I can't afford my mortgage next month. Trust me, I'll let you know. But I don't think that's going to happen. Fingers crossed that's not going to happen. I'm seeing that happen to a lot of my friends though, and it's just, I feel terrible for them. I feel terrible for everybody that's going for a tough time with this. It's crazy. We went out to Asda, the shop, the supermarkets, like the UK's equivalent of Walmart, to do some shopping today. Now, I've been in there a fair few times over the last couple of days and the shelves have just been completely fucking empty. I bought like 2 pot noodles because that was what they had. Like, that was literally, I went in there and I'm not saying there were 2 different flavours of pot noodle. No, they literally had 2 pot noodles on the shelf. Whereas normally there'd be, 400 pot noodles. They only had 2. And I wouldn't normally buy pot noodles, but seeing just 2 pot noodles on the shelf, I was like, I should probably buy those. So I've definitely got something to eat for lunch tomorrow. So, seeing that like day in, day out whenever I go into the supermarket has been absolutely crazy. We went in there today expecting that to be the case, but you know what? They'd stocked up good, so we managed to do a proper, decent week shop. No panic buying. I mean, there was a few things that were notably missing, like they had absolutely no pasta. That entire section of the shop had been decimated, which is absolutely insane. But we managed to get a week shop. Certainly 3 or 4 days ago, I was genuinely quite concerned of us not being able to get food over the coming week. So it's things are turning around in that respect. Let's see what Richard is saying. So still open until Boris says otherwise, although people are mad. Sold out of laptops, freezers, tablets. It's insane. Yeah, that's for those of you that have been watching my streams for a long time, I did during one of my monthly transcription streams a couple of months back. Someone drove into my wife. A lorry drove into my wife. She was in a car, like she wasn't just walking on the street and a lorry drove into her. But someone, destroyed her car. And a week ago now, she's been without a car for like 2 and a bit months, and she needs a car to get to work. And she was driving my car, and someone drove into that as well. So my car has gone off for repairs. She needed a car in order to get to and from work, so we've literally just had to buy her a new car. Not a brand new car, but it's a lot. It is a lot with all of this going on to go, oh yeah, you also just bought a new fucking car that we now have to pay for as well. So that was maybe not the smartest financial decision with where things have ended up, but such is life. We'll always get through it, won't we? Social distancing means more quality practice. Yeah, I was practicing. If I move out of the way, you can see snare drum here and drum stool here. I've been practicing rudiments. I've just been sat. Last night was amazing. It got to like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, right, I need to stop doing this transcribing. And I sat down at that, and I closed my eyes, and just worked on these rudiments for about 30 minutes, and it was amazing. It was like meditation, with the eyes closed and hearing nothing else. I just focused on the task at hand. Nothing else existed. Everything just melted away for a while, and I got into that zone where I'm doing my practice, and that felt good. So I'm always social distancing though, because I hate groups of people. Oh yeah, of course there were no toilet rolls. So Joe Clifford says, keep your distance, wash your hands, supplies will be fine. Yeah, well, not if you want toilet rolls. But yeah. So Justice says he thinks they're putting something in place for self-employed people. They will put something in place for self-employed people, but it won't be the same type of thing that they have in place for employed people. They're not going to say, right, if you can tell us what you earn per month, we'll just give you 80% of that, which is essentially what's happening. Like if for some reason my wife's business was shut down, right, the government would pay 80% of her wage, which is amazing. I'm so happy that is a system that's in place for people. Like that's awesome, because I know this is really stressful for a lot of people right now. I got an email while we were doing that stream saying McDonald's is closed. I mean, I thought after the apocalypse, like after the bombs had dropped, McDonald's would still be open because it's fucking McDonald's. But no, McDonald's is closed, which is insane to hear. So everybody that works at McDonald's, like their income's just gone. And if it wasn't for the government being like, we're going to pay 80% of your salary, they'd be in trouble. I just can't imagine the government saying, we're just going to pay you 80% of what you make a month just to make sure you're okay. And yeah, nothing for people on 0 hours contract. And I think in the grand scheme of things, that's what I am to the government. Like I'm a 0 hours contract guy, because my income differs so dramatically month on month. Who knows? Some months I'm going to make £1,000, and some months I'm going to make £5,000. Like it's crazy how different it can be. So the government aren't going to be able to help me massively. I am a business owner, so I know that I could take a loan. They are offering loans to small business owners. I'm a small business owner, so I could take out a 0% interest loan that would have no interest for 12 months. But if worst comes to worst, I'll consider it. But I would like to try and avoid that. It's like the same with our mortgage. I know we've got the option to take a 3-month holiday on that for no issue. That they'll just do that for us. But I kind of want to not do that unless I absolutely have to, type thing. Who knows? What a fucking crazy world we live in, right? I was watching, when I was transcribing last night, I was just flicking through Amazon to find, I have 2 screens. I transcribe on this screen, and I have something on that screen. I need background sound, like just people chattering away. It helped. I know it sounds crazy, but it helps me focus. And I put on The Tribe, which was an old TV show, kids TV show from the 90s. About kids in a post-apocalyptic world where a virus, a pandemic had happened and wiped out all of the adult population. I was like, wow, that's a bit close to the bone. Don't watch it, it's terrible. The acting is possibly the worst that I've ever seen. So ADF Audio says, me too, I got laid off the day before they announced all this. Never got a call back from the gaffer. That's absolutely fucking insane, man. I feel so bad for you. It's just absolutely fucking outrageous. I have a friend that works for Cineworld, the cinema chain. She's a manager, but she's also on maternity leave at the moment, so she can't be laid off while she's on maternity leave. So she was okay, but also she's been there long enough that this wasn't an option. But they laid off everybody that hadn't been working with them for 3 years, I think. And then any of the managers, they offered them voluntary redundancy. What was it? Voluntary redundancy, and we will pay you 40% of your annual salary. Which, that's crazy. And then 24 hours later, the government come in and are like, right, for businesses, we're going to pay your staff 80% of their wages. I can't imagine Cineworld are then suddenly getting back in contact with everyone and being like, right, guys, you know what we said yesterday where we laid you all off? Well, we don't have to do that anymore because we can still continue to pay you. Fucking, that's an absolutely fucking crazy one. So, you know, while I'm talking about like thanking, I'll do it one more time, thanking everybody that is supporting me on Patreon, because that is taking a huge amount of fear out of my life. I don't have a security to fall back on like that. No parents to fall back on. Like, there's no one going to bail me out. It's amazing having you guys being as supportive as you have been over the years. Still, I have to look at guys like ADF Audio, who's been laid off from his job, and just be like, do I have it that bad? Do I really have it that bad? And the answer is no, I don't. Until I've got bailiffs knocking at the door. I don't really want that, but you know what I mean? Like, in the grand scheme of things, I'm still okay. I'll still be okay. And you know what? My I'm out, motherfucker. My priority is just looking after my family, you know, and I'm doing that currently. So as long as I stay focused on that, we'll be doing good. So yeah, thanks for the love and concern. We'll be good. Let's look out for people like ADF more, and I hope everyone we'll all get through this. We'll all be good. Russell Banner said, do you reckon someone could master sweep picking in a few months during this time of social distancing? Yeah, probably. Where was that? I saw a comment about the tribe. The tribe was that weird shit. Yeah. Tribe was that they had the weird shit on their faces, and they lived in a like in a shopping mall. Yeah, and they were all like cybergoth. Yeah. Agenda 201 on YouTube will freak you out. I have no idea what that is, but maybe. Totally. Start 3-string, then 4-string, then 5-string, then 6-string. You missed one out, Richard. Start 2-string. The Joe Stump has a Berkeley Press book on sweep picking, and I bought it just to support Joe. But you know what? There's some really good material in there, and I absolutely fucking love how he's organised the material in the book. He's organised it by chapter. He's organised it starting with 2-string sweeps. There's a chapter on 2-string, then a chapter on 3-string, then a chapter on 4-string, which I thought was really fucking cool. So yeah, maybe check that book out. Though, like I say, getting books right now isn't easy. Anyway, guys, I've nearly been on for 2 hours. I am going to go in the house and play that new Terminator Resistance. I think it's Terminator Resistance on my PlayStation for a little bit. No one's going to master anything in any period of time. We could be in isolation for 10 years and you'll never master anything in that. Because when you think you've mastered it, you'll be able to push it. You'll be able to take it beyond. You'll be able to do more with it. So, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Long stream. I hope you've enjoyed this Aussie marathon that I've been going through. I will upload a video probably tomorrow, just talking about Aussie for the people that didn't want to do all of these streams with me. But yeah, thank you so much. It means a lot, and I will see you for another stream soon. Goodbye.